Ciao, sono Ada, your favorite Italian teacher. Do you want to know how the present tense works? If so, look, listen, and learn. Ciao, sono Ada. Vuoi imparare come funziona il presente indicativo? E allora guarda, ascolta e impara. Third step, verb patterns 1, present tense. Presente, what's happening right now? The present tense generally expresses an action in the present time. It indicates a fact. Antonio parla italiano. And a state of being. Gina è buona. In English, the present tense is pretty simple. When I taught English, my students were amazed by how simple the present tense is. In Italian, it's not complicated, but it's a bit more challenging. We have a first conjugation, a second, and a third, which has two different ways to conjugate. We'll learn all about this. And also, we have some special ARE verbs which are considered regular. So we need to become aware of those. Let's go. How to form? We prepare the stems. First of all, I want to point out that parlare means to speak. The are is the English to. So what we do to prepare, and it's called the infinitive. Parlare is an infinitive, vedere, partire, finire. Now, to prepare the stem, we rip off the are to get it. And that gives us parle, gives us ved, part, fin, and since finire is special, it has a second stem. We add an ISC, finisc. So once we prepare the stem, we prepare to conjugate. That means to add endings showing subject-verb agreement. Let's start with the first conjugation, parlare. We need subject pronouns, io, tu, lui, lei, noi, voi, loro, I, you, he, she, we, you guys, loro, they. Then we get our stem and add different endings. And we say, io parlo, tu parli, lui, lei parla, noi parliamo, voi parlate, loro parlano. And then we look, what's consistent? We immediately recognize the fact that the A appears right here, parla, and appears here, parlate, and it appears there, parlano. So that's a consistency. At this point, that's all we know. We also notice something else. My subject pronouns are in parentheses. You can figure out why. Unlike English, we don't need them. They're optional. Why don't we need them? Because the endings tell us who the subject is. Isn't that fascinating? Okay, let's look at our second conjugation. We're looking at ERE verbs. Our stem is ved, and so vedo, vedi, vede, vediamo, vedete, vedono. By yourselves, you can see one consistency. You can see the green light. Parlo, the O is carried over. Parli, the I, vedi. Da iamo. So those are easy. But we also see a pattern. We see that ERE verbs do go to the infinitive and pull down the E. Vede. And we do it again, the way we did it with ARE verb. Vedete. And then all of a sudden, what happened? Curveball. Get used to it. In life, there are lots of curveballs. So you're going to remember, that's round like a ball. Curveball. Vedono. Got it? Okay, let's move on to the third conjugation. Partire. For partire, we have one stem. Notice for finire, we had two stems. Right now, we're focusing on the first stem. So this gives us parto, parti, parte, partiamo, partite, and partono. Going across, finiamo and finite. So let's analyze what happened here. Using our logic, here we would have had to drag down the I. Look and tell me why we couldn't do that. Take a second. Look, we couldn't do that because we use the I here. We couldn't repeat it. So therefore we borrow. We take it from ERE verbs, and that gives us parte. Did we have to do that here? We didn't have to borrow. We can bring that I down here, and we have ite. For some mysterious reason, the curveball is carried on. Partono. Let's look at finire. Finiamo. All the way across. No is always the same. And finite. Yes, we can do that. Let's fill in. The second stem, fin plus isc, finisco, finisci, finisce, and finiscono. Okay, so what we do is follow this pattern, carry it over. We see that the green endings are the same, they don't change, and the curveball is carried over. Here is a different perspective, the complete chart. I left these two to the left to remind you that they follow that pattern. Now let's look at other verbs that are considered regular, but they do have two particular changes. Let's focus on C-ARE verbs and G-ARE verbs. C-ARE verbs have two stems, CERC, the regular stem, and CERCH. Same thing with GRE verbs. We have PAG, regular, and PAGH. Let's see why we needed to do that. So this gives us cerco, cerchi, cerca, cerchiamo, cercate, cercano. We know that the H is a mute letter, silent. It makes no sound, but it changes the sound of C and I. Without it, it would be cerci. We need it to be hard, cerchi, and we put the H. Same thing here, cerchiamo. And the same thing happens with the G-ARE verbs. So pago, paghi, paga, paghiamo, pagate, and pagano. So without that, they're totally regular verbs. It's not that difficult to remember. We want that hard sound, we use the H. Let's go on to the next group. C-I-A-R-E, G-I-A-R-E, C-H-I-A-R-E, and G-H-I-A-R-E. I'm giving you examples in the first two groups. Cominciare, cominci is a regular stem. Then we drop that I. We shortened it, cominci, and that gives us comincio, cominci, comincia, cominciamo, cominciate, cominciano. Look and tell me what happened. We didn't add another I here. We didn't want to say cominci. We didn't add another I here. We didn't want to say cominciamo. It's not smooth. Language is also about fluidity, fluency. So we speak and try to simplify all the time. And that's how language evolves. So that's all that happened there. It also happens with the very important verb mangiare. So we have mangio, mangi, mangia, mangiamo, mangiate, mangiano. Fantastico. Isn't it fun? I find it fascinating. Here is all that information we went through on one chart, your reference tool. Take a screenshot, use it until you don't need it anymore. Then you just delete it and move on to the present perfect tense. And check out my grammar, my Facebook page, like, subscribe, and share my YouTube channel. Check it out and snap it into place. Ciao ciao. Alla prossima volta.